upon finally getting into the season, we are greeted by a shot basically explaining that we got our butts handed to us in Lightfall. After this, it also showed us that a lot of Guardians died. Of course, we were already told this. But of course, they had to recap it because no one probably even bought Lightfall anyway, right? Anyway, so they then show us what is going to be Titan, which is basically just resold area that we already had in the base game. Congratulations, Titan's back. We're charging you $10 for it. Wait, is it 20? I don't remember how much these cost. I paid for the whole year. Fuck. Season of the Dead game, let's go! Alrighty, so first things first, I think I've been a little bit harsh. So when we're greeted into this, we are directly launched straight into Neptune, it says? I thought they said Titan was what we were unlocking, which is, we're unlocking Titan, but they're calling it Neptune, even though Titan is where we're at, because Titan is the moon of Neptune. You feel me? Now they're calling it a different planet just so they say we didn't have the same planet twice. It's still Titan, okay? So, anyway, it begins by running down a hallway, and it has us run for quite some time before finally running into some enemies. We're, of course, greeted with a kill enemy mission. Pretty generic stuff for Destiny 2, I want to go ahead and tell you. But, anyway, we did go ahead and kill some enemies. I did have a ton of fun with the Strand, as always. I haven't tried out any of the new aspects of Strand. Some of it's pretty fun. But we're then running some more, and we had to fight some more enemies. We're running while fighting, and then eventually I think I just deuced it towards the end of it. So, of course, we're having to run here, and it's quite a bit of a run. Like, you can literally just run past the enemies on most of this part of the mission. It's pretty sad when it's like this. The next thing I do believe we're going to do is some circle standing. So are y'all ready for some wonderful circle standing gameplay here? Of course, after fighting a couple bad guys, you got to kill some bad guys. You begin your circle standing, so we stand on one circle, and then we're going to move on into the next circle. Of course, we got to do some more circle standing. Like I said, more circle standing. I will say, once again, Strand's wonderful. After that, we are greeted by this guy who turns out to be a bullet sponge boss who we don't even end up beating because he just teleports out of nowhere after, of course, having to take upwards of 5 to 10 minutes just shooting at him being the only thing we can do because they've also disabled our subclass. Of course, after beating him, we are greeted onto what seems to be a chase mission, well, what turns out to actually just be a long-running mission of run down these hallways until you get to this door thingy-mabob. So, once we reach the door thingy-mabob, we literally have to walk across the room to go pick up a fuel cell, which we will then be putting into this thingy-mabob here, and then we'll begin what is basically match the pattern up to the hollow shape. Hooray, real quality content. Basically a door lock. So after way too much dialogue for no real reason, the door will finally open and we will drop down into what is this, the underwater area. But wait, we can't be underwater. There's too much pressure underwater. What shall we do? What shall we do? Oh, well, first we're going to try and open this. We hear some talk about the Drifter saying, nah, I'm pulling these people out. So the Drifter basically, after, of course, we activate this lever and try to go down and our suit starts cracking up so that we can't even see anything, the Drifter, of course, is going to pull us back out of here only to tell us to pick this thingy up and then we'll be good. So after interacting with some tube-looking things, we're allowed to go underwater, which turns out to just be basically underwater hallways with a water visual effect and a reduced jump. Oh, also, there's oxygen bubbles to collect while you're going through these hallways and holes you're jumping down. Hooray, underwater. Of course, your guns do not work underwater because why would they? Once you reach the door, of course, that's the end of the mission. We then meet this random person who no one ever really cared about, who was always just an NPC vendor, but for some reason we're supposed to care about, is now partially taken for some weird, unknown reason. It's just basically ways of trying to add some sort of decent story here. Oh, also, she says she's fine and she's made a friend, a giant dragon-looking thing with a giant eyeball that looks pure evil. I'm not sure I'd be friends with that one. Alrighty, so after that, we then went through this portal, which of course teleports us to the back end of the room in the helm. At first glance, I thought this was a redesign of the helm, but no, it is in fact just another room added on in the same exact location of where last year's second season was located. Just a different design. This one's kind of like a greenhouse-y thing for some real unknown reason. And then there's this tiny aquarium in the center of it. That's where you're going to be putting your fish when you go fishing, which is the next thing after this mission. So we then unlock the Into the Depths mission, this mission was okay. We also had to do the normal talk to the hollow thing. They said something about changing this system up a little bit, and all they really did was remove one item just so that the game mechanics would work. We then went to a fishing location only to find out that we were actually going to have to play the game in order to go fishing, so we began and launched Salvage. So upon arriving to Salvage, it turns out it's just another resold area with some little mini boss fights. This time there's these weird looking areas that they have objective markers on, but we really don't have to do anything with them, and all we really have to do here is kill the enemies in this first section. As I said, you really can't do anything. The enemies don't even shoot at them. They're only shooting at you, and there's 6 players in this. I really don't get... This is just such a speedrun sort of event. This is literally just a grind event with no actual real cool, interesting mechanics or anything. As a matter of fact, that was the weirdest mechanic I've ever seen. Literally, the only real objective was to kill enemies, especially with 6 players. I mean, come on, Bungie. What are we even doing here? So, of course, we had to kill some more enemies. That is what most of this mission is going to entail, is just spamming all of your abilities to kill enemies, shooting at them, whatever you gotta do. We're then told to go down this hallway thing, which is, of course, resold content areas that we're only going to be able to access during this mission. We then jump down a hole, basically underwater. Woo, underwater holes, guys. I'm not kidding you. This entire mission, the only thing you do underwater is jump down underwater holes and run through underwater hallways till you reach a doorway that'll take you through so you can actually shoot at things. Which, of course, the actual boss zone's not underwater. This isn't even really underwater. Only the hallways in this season are underwater. This is ridiculousness. Of course, you're greeted by a normal generic boss that's wiped easily by the 6 of us. We then open a normal chest. I will say this new cloak is looking okay. I'm probably gonna have to at least get the gear. We then play pick a card because Bungie thought that was something cool to do. And then, of course, after doing that, we are instantly advertised with the new PlayStation content because Bungie is now owned by Sony. That's right, PlayStation exclusives are only a hop, skip, and a jump away, guys. I almost bet on it, but maybe I'm jumping the gun here. For now, they're on everything, of course, because they're trying to get us to spend on the microtransactions, guys, which I will also say got a update to the storefront, which seems to only have worsened the loading performance of the storefront. We then begin this mission, which starts with getting empowered by the weird eyeball-looking monster thing. We then open a door in this mission, which will allow us to, of course, go back inside because we were in water for like 2 seconds. So we then go back inside and we're faced on this defeat the eyeball guys to pick up their fuel to put into the drill, which will then spawn 3 of these giant shanks, which after killing them we'll get 3 eyeballs, and we repeated that 3 times, and then we were on to this part. This part here, I'm actually just going to let play here, so y'all can go ahead and enjoy this. If you want to skip it, I will go ahead and tell you, it does seem to be about a 3-minute long fight, but this was also the only good content so far that I've seen from this season, so enjoy. I will be back in a minute. Upon beating that, we collected some coral. The person we know no one even cares about, the random NPC dealer that used to be in the base game Destiny 2, if any of you remember that, is somehow possessed by her new friend behind her. Once again, wouldn't be friends with that thing. Also, if you've seen there, that was the aquarium, and we've been given the Gone Fishing quest. Upon heading to the tower, we have about 2 new catalysts. Also, I will mention that Ikora Ray has some new sort of training for the 3 base game subclasses that will be rewarding you with exotics. However, these exotics are base game exotics, and most of us actually players who have played since year 1 know we already have all of these. But if you're a new player, it's good for you. Anyway, after that, we're told to talk to Hawthorne, who, wouldn't you know it, told us we have to play the new seasonal content to get bait in order to go fishing, just to put fish inside of aquariums. Besides that, I will also mention there's now been an added tab in the Eversverse store. That seems to be the only real difference in this store, and it is being the recommended tab. I'll also mention that in order to get the full experience of this game, not only do you need to be purchasing this season, but you need to be purchasing what is 1, 2, 3 DLCs, 2 different little passes that are $20 a piece, 4th DLC, another pass, a 5th DLC, and then there's even an annual pass upgrade for the 4 seasons. But I do believe that is all, guys. This is week 1 of Season of the Deep. I'm out.